So, have you ever heard about a discovery so massive it could literally redefine a nation's future? And no, we're not talking about ancient ruins or finding another tomb full of gold. We're talking about something way bigger. A recently uncovered report is pointing to a huge nuclear treasure buried right under the sands of Egypt. Let's get into it. And look, that's not just some hypey headline. That single sentence, taken right from our source material, really sets the stage. We're talking about a revelation that could have global implications. It's a story all about energy, power, and just massive, untapped potential. So, what exactly is this hidden nuclear treasure we're talking about? Well, according to a report from a Washington-based energy research unit, this treasure is one specific element, a substance that's being called the fuel of the future. And the key to this entire story is a radioactive metal you've probably never even heard of. And here it is. The treasure is thorium. Now, this isn't just some boring element from your high school chemistry class. Nope. This could be the very thing that powers the next generation of clean, safe nuclear energy. So what makes it so special? Why all the fuss? Okay, so the easiest way to think about thorium is like this. It's basically uranium's younger, more promising sibling. For starters, there's way more of it. It's found in much greater quantities all over the world. And it's designed to be used in these advanced Generation 4 reactors, next-gen power plants that are designed from the ground up to be safer and to produce way, way less of that nasty, long-lived radioactive waste. Right, so if this stuff is so great, you're probably wondering, why haven't we been using it all along? That's a great question. I mean, for decades, uranium has been the undisputed king of nuclear fuel. To really understand why thorium is such a potential game changer, we've got to put them head to head. Okay, now take a look at this. The advantages are just crystal clear. First off, abundance. Thorium is 3 times more common. Safety? Its reactors have a self-shutdown capability, which drastically cuts the risk of a meltdown. And the waste? It's not only less radioactive, but we're talking about it being hazardous for centuries instead of millennia. And here's the big one. It is incredibly difficult to turn into a weapon. You add in higher efficiency and the fact that you don't even need to enrich it, and yeah, you can see why they call it the fuel of the future. So, okay, we get it. Thorium is this incredible fuel. But what does any of this have to do with Egypt? Well, here's the twist. It turns out Egypt isn't just a player in the thorium game. It is sitting on one of the biggest jackpots on the entire planet. Just let that number sink in for a second. 480,000 tons. That is the estimated total reserve of thorium in Egypt, and that's combining both the confirmed deposits and the potential ones. It's an almost unimaginable amount of potential energy. And this chart really puts it all into perspective. With almost 500,000 tons, Egypt is number 3 in the entire world, right behind the giants India and Brazil. This puts them ahead of major resource players like Australia and the United States. So yeah, this isn't some small find. This is a world-class strategic reserve. All right, let's talk money, because, that's the bottom line. The raw material itself is worth around $48 billion, but once it's processed for industrial and nuclear use, its value absolutely skyrockets. We're looking at a potential $240 billion treasure. So where is all this wealth actually located? Well, it's primarily in 2 places. First, the famous black sands of the Nile Delta coast, found in a mineral called monazite across 11 different sites. And second, it's hidden away in the granite-rich mountains of the huge eastern desert. It's literally a treasure spread all across the country. This all sounds incredible, right? A miracle fuel, a massive reserve. It just begs the question, if this treasure is so valuable, why is it still in the ground? Well, the path from potential to profit is filled with some pretty serious obstacles. Yeah, the tough part here is that unlocking this treasure isn't easy. First, you need massive, massive investment for research and infrastructure. Second, commercial thorium reactors are still in development globally. The technology isn't fully mature yet. Then you've got to navigate complex bureaucracy, shift an entire economy away from its reliance on fossil fuels, and finally, build the political will to see such a long-term project through to the end. And this really gives you a picture of the kind of commitment that's required. We're not talking about a quick project. Building just a single new nuclear reactor takes about 8 to 10 years and costs, at a bare minimum, $1 billion. So unlocking this entire treasure requires a national vision that spans decades. But wait, the story doesn't end with power plants. The value of thorium extends far beyond just generating electricity. It's a super strategic element for the industries of tomorrow. Just take a look at this breakdown. Thorium is essential for creating the heat-resistant alloys used in jet engines. It's used to make the high-purity glass for advanced cameras and optics. It's got applications in sensitive electronics and even in medicine for radiation therapy. All this means that the demand for thorium is set to grow across a ton of different high-tech sectors. So, considering the immense potential and the pretty significant challenges, what does the future hold? How can Egypt turn this buried resource into a tangible reality? Well, the path forward would have to be really strategic. It would mean things like forming partnerships with nations that already have expertise, like India or China. It means investing in their own domestic plants to process the raw material, not just export it. The big goal would be to begin developing those Generation 4 reactors and transform the country into a major exporter of both clean energy and vital strategic minerals. If they could pull it off, we're talking about real economic independence.
In the end, it all comes down to this. The resource is there. The technology is on the horizon. The potential is absolutely undeniable. The only question left is whether Egypt has the vision and the will to unearth this treasure and power its future.